Hello, my name is Jim. Welcome to my Booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. This video is going to be about my struggles reading Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. July was Jane Austen July. I chose this back in January for Jane Austen July, but I found it difficult to concentrate on the story. Last year I read Emma, and I preferred the character of Emma to the character of Catherine Morland. This is in 2 volumes. In the first volume, Catherine doesn't even get to Northanger Abbey. She's too busy playing in Bath with her friend and her viper in the bosom, which is Isabella Thorpe. But I found it very difficult to focus on the story. It wasn't a great page turner for me. I guess romance isn't really my jam. I'm not too bothered about who dances with who or who ends up married to whom. I recently read Cartographer's Secret. There's a romantic element in that. It's by T. Cooper, set in Australia in 1880 and in 1911. And I found it a really interesting story, but the mystery element was far stronger than the romantic element. Is Jane Austen maybe overhyped? Of the 19th century women writers, I prefer Emily Bronte and Mary Shelley, and recently I finished Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell, which I really enjoyed. Jane Austen, certainly she's a great writer and I appreciate her humour. I find it quite difficult for me to focus on the story. I read some other books at this time which were great page turners. I've read some police procedurals like In Dark Water and A Winter of Darkness, where I'm turning the pages rapidly to find out what's happening. This wasn't the case with this. It's only a short book, it's about 250 pages. It's not a big mammoth like Anna Karenina, but also I found things like the vehicles described. When we talk about a curricle or a chaise à four, I wanted to check what they were, so I had to look up what a curricle was. It turns out it's a 2-wheel carriage pulled by 2 horses as opposed to a gig, which is a 2-wheel carriage pulled by 1 horse. There was one point where I considered even DNFing this, but I'd already invested so much time and effort, I thought I'd continue to the end. For the last third of the book, I found the way that worked for me was to find the audiobook on YouTube and follow the text whilst listening to the audiobook. This helped me to focus. I employed the same technique with Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, but there I more listened to the audiobook to hear an African American using the African American vernacular in the way Zora Neale Hurston intended, rather than me trying to interpret it in my head, because I'm not so familiar with the African American vernacular. I can't do this with The Gambler. The audiobook on YouTube of The Gambler is not the Perver and Volokonsky translation, so it's be very difficult following that audiobook while reading this text. If you have any tips for reading Jane Austen and focusing on your reading, you can let me know in the comments below. Thank you. If you like this video, you can like and subscribe below, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.